Okay, so you know that specific pain of toothache? Today, you book a dentist appointment. Pop a painkiller. Problem solved by tomorrow. Now imagine that same toothache with absolutely no dentist. No painkillers. No anesthesia. Just you, the pain, and whatever you could figure out yourself. And somehow, humans figured out ways to deal with it. Some of it is genuinely impressive. 14,000-year-old dental surgery using sharpened flint. Actual drilled fillings 13,000 years ago. And some of it is genuinely horrifying. A worm theory that lasted literally thousands of years. Honey used to physically lure that worm out. And extractions performed by actual barbers. Not dentists. Barbers. In the next 20 minutes, we're covering all of it. The surgery, the worm myth, the weird cures, and one detail you're going to think about next time you eat candy. Let's get into it. Let's start with the oldest known case of dental work on Earth, Northern Italy. A skeleton, roughly 14,000 years old. This person had a badly infected tooth, and researchers found scratch marks on it, caused by a sharpened flint tool picking and scraping directly at the cavity. Not just poking at food stuck in the teeth. Actual, deliberate treatment of a painful cavity. This predates any confirmed dental drilling by thousands of years. Fast forward a bit to a site called Murghar in what's now Pakistan. Archaeologists found 11 teeth from 9 different adults with holes drilled into them using sharpened flint points. Between 7,500 and 9,000 years ago. That's real dental drilling, thousands of years before metal tools existed. But here's the detail that genuinely shocks people. 13,000-year-old teeth found with actual fillings, made from bitumen, a natural tar-like substance, mixed with plant fibers and hair for extra grip. Same basic goal as a filling today, reduce pain and keep food out of the exposed cavity. Genuinely impressive stuff for the tools they had available. But here's the problem. They still had absolutely no idea why teeth actually decayed. So, like humans always do, they made something up. And that explanation stuck around for nearly 7,000 years. Around 5000 BCE, in ancient Sumer, someone wrote down the very first explanation for tooth pain. A tiny worm, living inside the tooth, boring through it from the inside out. Genuinely disgusting. And genuinely wrong. But actually kind of understandable if you think about it. Cavity holes genuinely look a lot like wormholes in wood. So the logic tracks. It's just completely wrong. And this idea did not stay in Sumer. It spread to Egypt, to Greece, to China, to India. Different civilizations, zero contact, same exact worm theory. And didn't just fade out quietly either. This belief lasted until the 1700s. That's nearly 7,000 years of the same wrong idea. A French surgeon named Guy de Chauliac was still teaching this in the 1300s. An educated, respected medical professional. So naturally, treatments were built entirely around fighting this imaginary worm. And honestly, you're not ready for some of these. Cure number 1, honey, smeared directly onto the aching tooth, hoping to literally lure the worm out so they could pluck it right out. Spoiler. There was no worm to lure out. Cure number 2, holding a burning candle right up against the tooth, hoping the heat would drive the worm out or kill it. Fire. Next to your face. On purpose. Meanwhile, over in ancient China, people wrapped tiny strips of parchment around the painful tooth, each one covered in written prayers and incantations, hoping words alone would fix a physical infection. Though, to be fair, China also had a genuinely legitimate approach. Around 2700 BCE, acupuncture was used to treat tooth pain, and that one might have genuinely dulled some of the pain. But then there's the medieval remedy, boiling dog's teeth in wine, then using it as a mouth rinse to prevent decay. I have so many questions. And when none of these actually worked, there was only one option left. Just pull the whole tooth out. In ancient Greece, between 500 and 300 BCE, Hippocrates and Aristotle actually started studying teeth properly, how they grew in, how decay actually spread, and they designed actual pliers built specifically for pulling teeth, purpose-built medical tools. Around the same time, in Etruscan Italy, dentists were carving false teeth out of animal teeth and building bridges strong enough to actually chew with. In 700 BC, that's genuinely advanced prosthetic dentistry. But now let's jump forward to the Middle Ages. Because if your tooth needed pulling in this era, you didn't see a dentist. You saw the barber. The exact same person cutting your hair. Haircut, shave, tooth extraction, all one appointment. No thank you. So how did people handle the actual pain of all this? Alcohol. Strong, distilled alcohol specifically. It didn't really stop the pain, just dulled it a bit. Some cultures also used opium poppies, or cannabis oils, for basically the same effect. And then there's the one that genuinely backfired. Nitric acid, used to whiten teeth, which did whiten them by dissolving the enamel. So, whiter teeth, but also less teeth. For nearly 7,000 years, the tooth worm theory ruled. But in the 18th century, a new invention changed everything: the microscope. Suddenly, scientists could see what was actually on teeth. No worm. Bacteria. A French dentist named Pierre Fauchard, often called the father of modern dentistry, flat out rejected the worm theory. He pointed instead at plaque, sugar, and bacteria, which, finally, was actually correct. Only took about 7,000 years to get there. And here's a fun twist. In ancient Egypt, toothaches were actually more common among the wealthy, because only they could actually afford sweets. Being rich literally came with a mouth full of consequences. And that's genuinely the real story here. Genuinely impressive surgery, mixed with genuinely wild nonsense, running side by side for thousands of years straight. So let's be real about what we just covered. 14,000 years ago, someone performed real dental surgery with a piece of sharpened flint. Thousands of years later, people were drilling teeth and filling them with tar and plant fiber. And also, for 7,000 years straight, they blamed the whole thing on an imaginary worm. Genius and nonsense, running side by side. And let's not forget, for a very long stretch, the person pulling your tooth was also cutting your hair. So genuinely, next time you're at the dentist, maybe don't complain about the waiting room. It could genuinely be so much worse. So that's the real story of how humans survived toothaches for thousands of years, long before Novocaine ever existed. Real surgery, real fillings, a worm myth that somehow lasted 7,000 years, and barbers who somehow ended up doing dental work too. Honestly, brush your teeth tonight. If your brain just got a little bigger, go ahead and subscribe, because next time we're cracking open another ancient survival mystery you were probably never taught in school.